Most people think money problems in relationships are about money. Well, what if I told you the skills that shape how we handle money and relationships start early, and they could absolutely be learned later in life? Today, we're joined on the 52 podcast by Maggie, founder and CEO of Satta, a platform helping kids build financial confidence and understand their relationship with money from a young age. Maggie's work explores how money mindset, communication, and emotional intelligence develop over time, and how those early patterns show up in adult relationships. In this conversation, we talk about why couples avoid money conversations, why it creates tension even when nothing feels wrong, and why learning how to communicate about money might be one of the most important relationship skills there is, because it is never too late to build it. Are you ready to get started? Let's get into it. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to 52, the podcast where we make balancing love, work, and life not just possible, but powerful. Whether you're building a company, growing your wealth, or building a relationship, we're here to help you live with intention. I'm Kelly, a former tech attorney turned relationship building advocate. And today, we're joined by someone whose journey reflects reinvention, resilience, and lifelong learning. Our guest is Maggie Shih, an entrepreneur who has built across health and wellness, real estate, Web3 community growth, and now financial education for children through her company, Satta Labs. Now, Maggie has lived and worked across Hong Kong, Toronto, San Francisco, Miami, and Mexico City. She's partnered with major brands in wellness, closed over $7 million in real estate in her first year in a new market, and led initiatives focused on women's empowerment in emerging tech. Now, she's building Satta Labs, a gamified platform helping kids develop money confidence and resilience through play. And what I love about that mission is how much it overlaps with 52, because whether it's money or relationships, the core skills are the same: communication, confidence, emotional intelligence, and growth. So, on that note, please join me in welcoming Maggie. Maggie, welcome to 52. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Amazing. We're so happy to have you. Where are you joining us from?
I am in sunny Miami.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. We're very excited for today's episode. To our listeners, you know exactly what to do. Grab your coffee or your tea, or depending on the time of the day, your wine, and let's get ready for a great episode. Maggie, ready to dive in?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. So, Maggie, your career has involved multiple reinventions. I mean, you went through new industries, travel to new cities, new
Mhm.
communities. So, let's start there. How has your experience starting over in different industries shaped the way you approach relationships and trust?
Yeah. So this is such a good question. And I actually think about it a lot just on my own. I'm actually a very firm believer that your experiences and your upbringing shape the person that you are today. So, like how you move to life, how you approach people and situations. So, for me, because I've had to essentially reinvent myself and adapt to a lot of surroundings every few years, I've gotten really good at reading people. So, I'm
Nice.
hyper aware of who I bring close into my circle. And the two things that I look for is always your character and then consistency. It's how
Consistency is a big one, by the way. I love that you brought that up.
Totally. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
how people show up for you when things get hard, right? So that's like the number one thing that I look for. Not sure if it's a good or bad thing, but I tend to be really good at cutting people out too when it just doesn't make sense for me, right? Like zero tolerance for bullshit, if I can say that on this
Yeah,
podcast.
I totally agree with you on, I'm going to call it the two C's now: character and consistency. I love
Okay.
that. Maggie's two C's.
Mhm.
So, based on that, when you enter a completely new environment, how do you decide who to build with in business and or in life, like in general?
Yeah, so here's another C. So curiosity is number one, right? Curious people ask questions and they have a growth mindset. So that's number one for me when I look for people, not just in business, but also friends and
Mhm.
life, right? How they treat others is also super important. Are they a people pleaser? Can they stand on their own and have their own opinion? I want people around me to teach me things because I don't know everything. And that's what life is about. Like, you want to be around people who can ask questions and teach you things. And then I would say emotional stability is also very important. Having a startup, there's a lot of highs and lows. So I really pay attention to someone that can handle pressure or how they handle pressure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes down to it, emotional stability is really important. Like
Hmm.
the highs and lows in any careers could get pretty demanding. So who you surround yourself with, it's important to like help
Hmm.
yourself grow, to be challenged, to move on and to excel. So
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up. And do you think entrepreneurs approach relationships differently because they are constantly adapting and rebuilding?
Yeah, I think because you are constantly evolving, navigating, pivoting, I do think it makes you a much more resilient person and also patient with people. I'm personally not a very patient person. So being on this journey of building Sata has taught me to become so much more patient than I used to be. So I think a lot of entrepreneurs have that sense of, I'm not going to give up or let's build together. And I think those mindsets are actually really key to successful romantic relationships.
Absolutely. So patience specifically and
Hmm.
having that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, given the fact that you've lived in so many different cultures, which is awesome. By the way, I just out of curiosity for our listeners,
Yeah.
which one have you enjoyed? Which culture has like really resonated with you? Like, which one have you really enjoyed the most so
Yeah.
far?
I So, because I moved away from Asia when I was so young,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a lot more westernized. But as I get older, I feel like I kind of gravitate back to my culture. So I'm always,
Home.
yeah, it's home, it's root, right? So I'll call my mom or I'll text my mom, like, hey, like even for Chinese New Year this past month, I'm, this is the first year where I'm like, I'm going to do every single thing that I'm supposed to do during this 2 weeks of
I love that.
celebration. You kind of just want to go back to your roots. So I do feel like I'm starting to gravitate more towards the Eastern culture than the West, although I live here.
Ah, love that. But
Hmm.
given that you've lived across so many different cultures, which often shapes how people think
Hmm.
about partnership and family, I'd love to explore the next topic, which is more about your global perspective on relationships. And
Hmm.
first thing on this is, how has living in different countries influenced the way you think about partnership, marriage, and family?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's different countries. I do think how I guess, like how you view your partnership is more about how you were raised. Um,
Yeah.
right. So, like I didn't grow up with a dad. So it's always just been me and my mom. So my norm is zero partnership, which I yearned so badly, right, to have when I was
Right.
growing up. So being an adult, I had to learn how to be a good partner and what a healthy partnership looked like. So luckily I married a wonderful partner, Rohan, my husband, and he has such an amazing family who, just open their arms. Um, so I'm just so grateful to have that because I never had it.
Thank you for sharing that, and that's gonna go a long way with everyone listening too, because we have so many different listeners from different backgrounds, whether they have both parents growing up, one,
Hmm.
and just hearing that you yourself learned on your own, even like about healthy relationships and building that, it shows a lot of initiative on your part, and that's awesome. Maggie, are you and your hubby, do you guys share the same, do you guys come from the same culture, or are you from different cultures?
He's Indian. So
Awesome.
Asian, but not the same culture, but very similar.
Ma-
And I think that's why, that's why, let's talk about this later. Let's get through the
yeah, yeah,
questions
yeah, we're
first.
gonna get into this later, but
Yeah.
now just bringing that up, what relationship values do you believe are universal across cultures?
Communication, respect, and trust.
Love
Those
that.
are so important. There's a lot of C's, right, today?
A lot. I'm
A
all
lot.
for it.
I know.
All for it. I
Yep.
love this. I absolutely
Hmm.
love this. And The exposure to different cultures, did that change the way you think about like independence versus partnership and relationships?
I do think that the importance of independence is really strong in the Western culture, right? Like doing
At
everything
a
on your
fault,
own.
almost
Yes,
at a fault.
out of
Hmm.
fault. I mean, it's not all bad. It's good to be able to take care of yourself, to be, on your own. But at the same time, it's almost like too far to the point where you don't know how to be in a partnership or have that trust that you can lean on your partner. And that's something that I actually had to learn because again, like growing up with a single mom and then growing up in Canada and now America, I view independence as such a strong identity for myself that when I had to become a partnership with Rohan, it it took a while for me to be like, "Okay, I can lean into this. I can trust this." And it actually created more independence for me now that I'm part of a partnership. It gave me more freedom to do what I wanna do.
That's very interesting to hear. So we don't hear that enough. That actually going into a relationship,
A healthy relationship.
thank you, a healthy relationship really brought you even more into
Mhm.
your own growth and like independence.
Right,
And that's something people usually think the opposite. They think once they get into a relationship, that's gonna be at the sacrifice of their independence.
right. Mhm.
So you just brought up a really important point. Thank you for that. And now I would love to connect your global experience to something very core to your current work, education and skill building, because
Mhm.
that's exactly what you're doing with Satta. At Satta, you're teaching kids money confidence really early. And in
Mhm.
adult relationships, finances happen to be one of the biggest sources of stress. So,
Mhm.
from your perspective as both an entrepreneur and a married woman, how important is financial communication in a relationship or marriage?
So important. It's probably the most important conversations that couples should have, but also a very taboo conversation to have, right? Like money carries so much emotion, like stress, security, fear, freedom. And if you don't talk about it or at least acknowledge that all these emotions exist, it starts to create tension in relationships. I think the goal in a relationship isn't just about the budgeting and planning, it's understanding each other's relationship with money.
That's a very good point to make. So, in your marriage, how did you and your husband learn to talk openly about money and long term financial planning?
Yeah, so we're still learning. And I am the first to say that
Yeah.
I have anxiety with money. One of the biggest reasons why I am building Sata is because I still carry a lot of negative narratives in my head,
Right.
especially when it comes to tying my self-worth to money, right? Like it all stems
Hmm.
from upbringing. It all stems from that initial memory that you have with money.
Absolutely. There's a lot of anxiety that comes up when any kind of financial topic is brought up or your own financial status, whatever it may be. It is a very, very difficult topic to deal with personally and communicate with others and deal with. For couples who do feel very uncomfortable discussing finances, what is one simple way they can start improving those kind of conversations? So, as a couple, and then also as a family unit.
Yeah, for a couple, I think starting with stories would be a really simple way. Instead of just jumping straight into financial planning, start with questions like, what is your first money memory? What did money look like growing up for you? Those are questions where it opens doors, right? Where you can start having these conversations and it becomes natural when you start talking about budgeting, what do we need money for? Who's going to bring home the bacon this time around? Who can go ahead and build a startup with no income, right? Like that's something that we also had to learn and had to really lay it all out before I actually, quit everything that I was doing and became, an entrepreneur.
Right. I'm just thinking now, even when the two people are on a date and they get to the point of like, okay, finances need to be spoken about, but they dodge that question. Like based on what you just said, it could be more of like, oh, tell me a story when you were a kid, something you
Mm,
splurged on, or a gift that meant something to you. And how they respond will show a lot about them and how
mm.
they feel about money. That's a great tip.
Right. And same thing when it comes to family, right? A lot of families don't talk about money. It's more the adult topic,
Yeah,
right? So, but
absolutely.
inviting kids on that journey, maybe talk about, are we budgeting for groceries? And why am I buying this carton of milk instead of this one? Because this one's 4.99 and this one's 7.99 for no reason. So those tiny little moments help instead of just shutting it down.
Absolutely. That's fabulous advice. And do you believe that financial literacy should be taught not only to children, but also to adults preparing for long term partnerships?
Oh my god, absolutely. Yes. I would say the best is starting as early as 5, and which is the starting age for our app. Kids start to develop money habits as early as 7, and habit forming starts as early as 5, right? We spent years teaching academic subjects, but there's never any moment where we're teaching life skills. How to
No, nothing.
communicate, nothing. How to communicate about money, how to navigate financial decisions with another person. Those were never taught. So that's something that is so important.
I completely agree with you. In middle school, elementary, I mean, I don't ever remember using the Pythagorean theorem after that or
No.
any of that. But like when it comes to writing a check or like taxes, as like a 20 something year old attorney not knowing exactly what to do at the time when like adulthood really kicks in,
Mhm.
it's kind of like what did we learn back in school? So
Right.
your app definitely comes into play at every stage of our lives. It's very important what you're doing, and I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. And
Thank you.
what I love about Sata is that it treats financial confidence as something that can be learned. So at 52, we believe the same thing about relationships. So let's talk about that directly now. Do you believe relationships are something people can actively learn and improve over time?
I think so. I think anything can be learned if you go with the intention of actually wanting to succeed or have that growth mindset versus the perfection mindset.
Absolutely, a hundred
Mhm.
percent. But do you think society invests very little in like relationship education? We were just talking about finances. We don't have that in middle school, elementary school, high school. So do you think we're also lacking in relationship building?
Yeah, so I actually don't think we focus on investing in any soft skills. We focus on the wrong things,
Yeah,
right? We focus on just checking the box versus what do we actually need in life? Being a good human and being able to move through life, right? Money moves through life. Like you need money for everything. Relationships, those are really important too. That's why the loneliness count is so high because nobody knows how to be with another person or nobody knows how to communicate with another person. So we almost kind of just like retreat back into our little shell, and it's the whole thing with being independent or being able to rely on people thing, right? Like we don't know how to just be with other people anymore.
no, not at all. And AI is unfortunately not helping with that either when it comes
I
to
know.
human connection. I love AI, but like
Me too.
things are unfortunately really like deteriorating when it
Mhm.
comes to that. And I'm just curious if people approach dating with the same learning mindset that you're building into Sata, how do you think relationships would change?
Yeah, I think dating would be a lot healthier. So instead of seeing relationship as, black and white, success or failure, people see it as an opportunity to learn, right? To learn about themselves, how they feel, what they need, and just being more open to discussing the highs and lows.
Absolutely. And part of learning in both business and relationships often involves guidance. And
Mm-hmm.
that brings me to coaching and mentorship for our next topic here. Do you believe mentorship or coaching can help people build stronger relationships as it does with careers or even finances?
I do. It's always good to have another lens because from your day to day, you're so focused on just your own lens, right? Like sometimes you don't see a lot of the blinders. So it's always great to have another person's point of view that doesn't have like the bias to kind of like guide you through things.
Absolutely. And Maggie, as an entrepreneur yourself, how have mentors or coaches helped shape your decision making and your journey?
I actually have a lot of mentors, but online. I listen to tons of podcasts. I don't read books, but I listen to books. So that's how I get my mentorship. And I think it's been tremendous. There's a lot of materials that you can get online versus just being from one person. Hence why I always like seek out advice or mentorship from just like listening to a lot of people online.
Yeah, and it's so easy now. Like all you need to do is just search a topic and then something pops up. And it's where we're lucky. Like it's definitely easier now than it was maybe even 10 years ago or like 15 years ago when it comes to seeking mentorship. Now, do you think having an outside perspective can help couples identify their blind spots in their relationships?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why people have therapists, right?
Yeah, but the thing with therapy is therapy heals the past. It's more like, what about achieving something in your future, like coaching?
Coaching is very helpful in every aspects in your life. So why not for relationships? We
I-
don't learn it, right? We don't learn how to be in a relationship. And for instance, for me, right? Like I didn't know how to be in a partnership until I met Rohan, but I've had
Mm.
tons of fail relationships prior to that, right? Had I had a coach to kind of guide me through why I was doing XYZ, maybe those would have succeeded. But then I wouldn't have met Rohan.
They were all like critical moments in your life to get you to where you are now with your soulmate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you bringing up like had I had the coaches back then, there's
Hmm.
also this weird like resistance almost when it comes to getting a coach for your love life as opposed to getting a
Hmm.
coach for finances, careers, whatever it may be. But why do you think people feel comfortable hiring coaches for business but hesitate to seek guidance in their love life and relationships?
You know what? I don't know.
Hmm.
Why do you think that?
Honestly, I'll be so like frank about it. I thought it was almost like you're weak. Like, but I'm personally someone who's always had a mentor in every area of my life, especially career, especially in my academics, because I wanted to achieve a goal. So when it came down to it, it's kind of like a light bulb went off. Why wouldn't I want the same kind of success in my love life and not get a
Right.
coach? Like, it's strong people who get the coaching, but there's a weird stigma that just started out of nowhere.
Same thing with finance, right? I think when it's not tangible and you can't really see it like immediately, people tend to shy away from even paying for that service. Or another thing is it's so personal, right? Like having a career coach is a lot more external. Like you're you're getting the money, you're getting that job, right?
This is a really good point.
Relationship is a lot more internal, and same thing, your money relationship is a lot more internal. So that could be it.
That's a really good point. That's a really good. No one's ever said that before. Total mic drop. And beyond that, even another theme that connects Sata with 52 is play because learning works best when it's engaging. So I love to talk about that next. How important do you think playfulness and curiosity are in building meaningful relationships?
I think those 2 words should be on everyone's mirror or
Right?
wherever it is, and just motto for how to approach life, period. Things can change over time with yourself and also as a couple. So staying curious about your partner, keeping things playful helps the relationship evolve.
Absolutely. So, do you think dating sometimes feels a little too transactional today?
Yeah, 1,000%. It feels so transactional. I mean, from the stories that I hear from friends, and I think part of it is technology, right? Like we created this culture where people can just feel easily replaceable. I don't want to shit on, apps because I did meet Rohan on Bumble and I'm so proud to see that and I love that. But meaningful relationships don't come from just comparison. And I think you have to invest time and attention into one person. Unless it's
Yeah.
toxic, like, try to fix it.
Well, yeah. 100%. I mean, people now it's okay if this relationship doesn't work, there's always another option. There's this endless option situation going on right now, always to move on to the next thing where it's back in the day something didn't work, you fix it. Like you
Yeah.
work at it.
Yep.
And that's what's important. So I completely agree with you. And the last question on this topic, what role do shared experiences and creativity play in emotional connection? Because right now what you have is okay, for example, on the dating apps. You meet someone, you go for drinks. That's it. There's no like fun activity anymore to actually bond.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear it from you as someone who's married. What role do shared experiences and creativity play in emotional connection?
Yeah. It's all about quality time and phoneless quality time. Traveling together, solving challenges together, creating something together. I actually just talked about this with Rohan this morning. So I was like, when was the last time we traveled? And then he was like, literally 2 months ago. We just went to Montreal. And I was like, oh, it seems so long ago.
One thing you just brought up though was phoneless quality
Phoneless.
time. A lot of people, I mean, I'm guilty of this too. We're kind of like addicted to our phones, unfortunately. Like I even take one day where I completely log off just to get self care. But like for you to say when you spend quality time with your partner, get off your phone, it's very important for people to hear that because they might know, but they might forget. So yeah, it's a great reminder. And now I'd love to shift into something more personal,
Okay.
aka your marriage story. Our audience always loves hearing about how people meet and what made them realize they found the right partner. So, Maggie, please do tell us, how did you meet your husband?
I met him through Bumble. Shout out to Bumble, not sponsored.
Mm-hmm. Not sponsored, but shout out to Whitney Wolf.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a cute story, actually. So it was during COVID. My friend gave me a challenge of going on 10 dates in 1 month, and Rohan was number 10.
No way.
Yeah. He was number 10.
Oh,
Yeah. I was just having the worst time with the previous 9. And I had a system too. So we can talk about that later too. But
I
he was
want to hear about
10.
this.
Yeah.
What was that system exactly?
So on Bumble, the girl approaches first, right? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So my system was you say hi, you do your little intro, and then I actually ask for a meetup, either like a coffee or a walk right away. There's no point of wasting time talking back and forth, in my opinion. You meet for a quick coffee or a quick walk. So I like to do walks or coffee because you can actually get out really quickly.
Nice.
I think my
That's
shortest
efficient.
date was 20 minutes.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like that system.
you don't need to waste
That's
time.
not too shabby. Not too
No, it's
shabby.
not.
No,
It's not. Why
this is
not?
fair.
Yeah.
So I like
So
this.
that's what happened. And then I met
So
Rohan.
wait, was your first date with Rohan a walk or a coffee?
It was a coffee and then it turned into a walk. And
Ooh, he
then
got both.
he got both. And then because we just gelled so much that we actually went on our second date that same night to dinner.
No
So we left
way.
each other and then yeah.
I love.
hmm
Okay, that I love. So then, what stood out about your husband early on?
His calmness, I think. So I'm a very fiery person. So his
Leo. We're
calmness,
talking to a Leo.
we're
We're
talking
interviewing a Leo here to everyone who wants some background info. Leo, fire sign.
fire sign. Yep.
Mhm.
His calmness actually stood out to me. And I think as someone that is very fast and anxiety driven, he has this grounding presence about him. So
Love
that's what
that.
really stood out to me.
Is he an earth sign?
He's a Libra.
Libra. Oh, Libras are great. Very,
Mhm.
very nice. Aw.
Yeah.
So when did you realize that your husband was someone you could actually build a life with? That like he's the one?
I don't think there was a single moment. I think it was a like accumulation of a lot of things, like how we handle challenges together, how he supported me, how he supported my goals,
Mm,
and I think just being comfortable around each other.
I love that.
Yeah.
And like looking back, what made your relationship feel really aligned for like the long term? Like was there one moment where it was like, okay, like this is it.
Yeah, I think just similar values and similar background. We're both immigrants. We connected because of that, and then us moving around a lot growing up. So he also moved around a lot growing up too.
Wow.
He was born in India and then moved to the Middle East. So moved to Qatar and then Dubai and then to the States for school. And then
Wow.
he actually got booted out because of some immigration thing. So he went to Singapore for a year and then went back to the States. And then I met him in 2020.
And
Yeah.
you know, when you brought up how he supports your ambition and work,
Mhm.
that is so important when it comes to successful long-term relationship, really just encouraging and being there for each other. And you yourself, you've built multiple companies and navigated reinvention while maintaining your personal life and your independence clearly. So I'd love to talk about how that works in a marriage. And, you know, just to like start us off on this, how have you and your husband supported each other through career transitions and ambitious goals?
Yeah, I think we have really open conversations about it and we give each other space to grow. It kind of goes back and forth, right? Like now I'm on this journey. So he has to be the stable one. And then hopefully when Satta takes off, he gets a turn in what he wants to build. So it's a little bit of like, like balancing, kind of like a Libra.
Yeah, literally, Libra's the
I
justice side.
know,
That's
right?
so fun. That's a great point. Oh, I love that. Wow. I
Oh.
mean, it really is true. It's never really, I mean, sometimes it is 50-50, but like sometimes it
Mhm.
really could be like 10-90, or even sometimes 0-100. Like it's just
Yeah.
really being there for each other. And,
Mhm.
you know, you bringing that up, just for our listeners to hear again, how important is it to have a partner who supports your long-term vision?
Extremely important. I don't think I can be with anyone that does not support what I wanna do. It just wouldn't work out, and that's probably why we connected too, because 'cause we're both very ambitious and driven people individually. So, honestly, sometimes I feel a little overwhelmed because he does challenge and pushes me, but when you look at, like, in grand scheme of things, like, it's actually really nice to have a partner that actually challenges you to do more, right?
100% and makes you grow. And when both partners are so ambitious, like you and your husband, what does healthy support look like in practice? So you're saying he does challenge you, but how does like our listener tell that it's being done in a healthy way? So yeah, what does healthy support look like in actual practice?
Communication and adaptability helps, right? When you're evolving over time, you wanna make sure that you're staying connected to each other and learning exactly what each other's, I guess, pain points are. And as you're growing and as you're even like, as I'm building, I'm navigating a lot of pain points. So to have a partner that is very stable and able to ask questions and understand what I'm going through, it's just essential.
Yeah. I mean, Maggie, you are literally building a company from ground up. I mean, Sata, it takes up most of your time, I assume, every day of every second. So, I mean, I'm assuming you're in one of these seasons right now, but if not, have there been seasons where one of you needed to lean more on the other? And how do you guys show up for each other in a healthy relationship?
In terms of work or just life?
Work and life, quite
Yeah.
frankly. Yeah.
So I can share a little bit more on the personal side. So I really had to lean on my husband earlier this year when I went through my ectopic surgery. So we didn't know that we were 8 weeks pregnant. And
Oh.
I basically found out when I went to the hospital, crazy abdominal pain. And then they told me that we were pregnant and then I was internally bleeding. And I had to go straight into the emergency room. And I was down for, I would say, I was only down for 2 days. And that's because I really wanted to get back up and start working again. But through all of that, the way that he supported me, it was just another level. And it like makes me cry. It just
I'm gonna
the
cry
tears
right
are
now.
coming. I know.
I'm gonna
I
even
know.
cry right now.
It's the way that he took care of me and the way that even he got mad at me because I wanted to go do a Pilates class like 2 weeks after.
Mm.
It just showed how much care and how much love he had for me. So during that downtime when I also had to build a company, he was right there with me. He texted my team telling them what was going on. My team showed up and it was it was honestly it was almost like a blessing in disguise because I learned how much we loved each other.
No, that's definitely
Yeah.
wow. That's amazing. Woo. And not
Yeah.
only with your husband, no, like I'm right now like trying to hold in the tears too, but like not even just with your husband, but like for your team to also be there and show up. Like showing how like everyone is there for I mean, every relationship matters. Like every relationship needs to be healthy and like just the fact that you could count on someone and rely on someone.
Right.
It's
And that goes back
so
to saying
important.
how important partnership is,
Yeah.
right? And how important like the consistency is, right?
Yeah.
This was a huge like
Character and consistency.
yeah,
I mean, you brought
character
that up in the
consistency.
beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep, it's how people show up for you when you're at your low.
absolutely. Wow. And both entrepreneurship and marriage requires much resilience. I mean, that's very much so clear.
Mhm.
So let's close that thread. What do you think helps couples grow together over time instead of growing apart, especially when both might be really ambitious or might have such demanding careers?
Um, I think let me think about this.
Yeah, take your time.
What helps couples grow together? It's always communication. It's communication, having fun together, and not taking things so seriously. Constantly checking up on each other. That's important
Yeah,
too, because we forget that we evolve as individuals. So you got to check in on each other emotionally and, whatever they need.
absolutely. And what has helped you and your husband when challenges arise? What habits help couples stay emotionally connected?
For us, maintaining respect even during disagreements. So, no
Yes.
name calling.
Yep.
If you need a moment, you take it. It's not always perfect, but you apologize and you acknowledge if you've done something wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So important, especially the name calling. Completely agree with you on that. And you brought up that really personal experience between you and your husband. And just thinking about that now, what mindset helps couples remain resilient during difficult difficult times, whether it be personally, health wise, career? What is it that can what mindset really keeps you strong during that time?
So, one thing Rohan will always say is, we're doing this together, right? So, even if it's a challenge, it's always together. And sometimes I get very defensive. And I'm the first to say I get very fiery as a Leo. I get defensive when he says something that I don't like. But at the end of the day, he's always reminding me that no, we're doing this together. I'm doing this to help you grow. Or, it's a challenge, but it's not just you're handling it, like I'm doing it too, or vice versa. Right. So you have to find a teammate that will do the hard things with you. That's a good quote.
I completely agree with the whole teammate mentality. And even when it comes to arguments, just remembering that it's you and your partner against the topic, not you and the topic against your partner.
Yeah.
So that whole teammate mentality is awesome. And not just, by the way, with now couples, like at work as well, like with your partners at work. Thanks for bringing that up. And as we wrap up, I'd love to end with a few reflective questions that tied everything together: education, money, and relationships. Are you ready for this?
I sure am.
All right. So, from your perspective, what is the biggest challenge couples face in relationships today?
The biggest challenge is distraction. I think right now in modern life, we get pulled into so many directions. We have work, technology, social media, and just life. And sometimes we just stop to kind of just catch your breath and focus on the present. I think that's the biggest challenge right now. Just too many things going on at once.
Way too many. I completely agree with that, especially with social media
Yeah.
and phone. It's an addiction. Like it's an actual addiction. It's insane. And what's one habit that strengthens a long-term partnership over time that you would recommend for our listeners to keep that spark alive, to really keep that spark alive in a relationship, keep that fire going?
Yeah, okay, so one habit that we have is we always give each other kisses in the morning when we wake up. That's the first thing we do. And then that's the last thing we go to bed. So small. It's so small, but I think it
It,
helps.
it goes a long way.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. And the last question to wrap us up: if you could teach one relationship lesson the same way Satta teaches kids about money, what lesson would you want everyone to learn earlier in life?
One lesson.
Yeah.
Growth mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Growth
Amazing.
mindset. Because you're always learning. You're never going to stop learning in life, even when you're in your 80s and 90s. When you stop growing,
Wow.
you die mentally. So, growth mindset.
Absolutely. Wow. Love that.
Mhm.
Really, thank you so much, Maggie, for joining us today. This was phenomenal. I mean, from wellness to real estate to Web3 and now Satta Labs. I mean, Maggie, your journey reflects curiosity, resilience, and continuous growth. Speaking of growth, you
Yes.
know, through Satta, you've been helping children build money confidence and resilience, foundational skills that shape future success. And at 52, we believe the same principles apply to relationships. Confidence, communication, emotional intelligence, and learning are, skills that can be developed over time. Now, Maggie, where can our listeners follow your journey and learn more about Satta Labs and even download your app?
Yeah, so we are in the app stores. We're open public beta right now. So our app is
Yes.
Satta Money Smart Kids. And you can find me on Instagram or LinkedIn. It's Maggie Shih. And please follow us at Satta Kids on Instagram as well.
I already downloaded it. It's awesome. Definitely not a kid, but could always learn. And I follow Maggie as well, and she gives a lot of great advice on her personal Instagram on Sata as well. So definitely check that out, Maggie. Thank you for sharing that. To our listeners, if today's conversation resonated with you, please subscribe, rate, and share it with someone who believes in building intentionally in both love and life. Until next time, stay curious, keep growing, and remember, you're not just finding the one, you're becoming the one. Happy dating. The content in this podcast is for entertainment and is not mental health, medical, or personal relationship counseling. It is not a substitute for professional expertise and judgment from a licensed healthcare or mental health professional. You should seek the advice of a qualified professional when seeking mental health or medical advice to obtain a diagnosis or any treatment regarding your mental health or well-being. The content in this podcast may not be applicable to you and your specific situation. Topics discussed in this podcast may include information that may be considered sensitive or emotionally charged to some people, and therefore listener discretion is advised. References to third-party resources are for informational purposes only, and 52 Inc. takes no responsibility for the content of those resources. This podcast is copyrighted 2025 by 52 Inc., all rights reserved.